I'm so excited that you came to join me to draw a pumpkin spice latte. And I thought it'd be so fun to actually draw a pumpkin cup with the latte foam on top. I'll be using the 6B pencil. My canvas is screen size. Let's get started. I got a gray color. I'm gonna go like a gray black color just so you can see clearly on the screen. But any light color will work. So pumpkin cup. Draw a U, a large U. This will be the size of the cup. Curved at the top, comes out on the bottom, like so. Pumpkins are rounded out, so we want to do that same shape. Grab my eraser. And just cleaning it up a little bit as I go. Pumpkins usually have these grooves. We want to add these grooves as well. We can have the top rounded like so. Or you can just draw one line for a smooth cut. And pretty much, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, if I have 4, 5 would be better. So I'm gonna start in the middle. Let me erase that. Let's start in the middle. Here's my one groove. I'm not going to round out the bottom. It'll be flat because our cup needs to sit on the table without tipping over. There's my second and my third. So my cup, it came out with about 3 grooves, 3 sections. Yours might have 4 or 5, both work. There's my cup. I need a handle. Handle. Pretty much looks like an ear. Ovally, rounded at the bottom. And there's my cup. My cup ear, I should say. Thicker on the top, thinner at the bottom. That is just preference. There's no right or wrong. Maybe you prefer the ear of the cup to have more design at the bottom. You can. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Now my foam for my pumpkin spice latte. I'm gonna start at the bottom because we don't want the foam to go over or past the cup. The widest part of my foam will be right here. That's why I like to start at the bottom when it comes to foams and cups. So I know the widest. And then I'm gonna add 3 or 4 more of these grooves. And then the top. And the top comes to like a point like so. And again, you don't want it to go too much past the bottom one. So in my case, to fix this, there we go. It looks a little wonky, but don't worry. Just so you have these side grooves, we're gonna change them a bit and fix them. Now, I'm gonna bring this line in, just ever so slightly. And then bring this one in. And then bring this one in, like so. And now you can kind of start seeing the shape of all that foam, or that whipped cream. So actually, my top is way too big. Erase, erase. You need to be way smaller. So curved side, My point is here. This is one curved line. And my second curved line, whoop, comes around, down, and then over. Like so. A little messy, but looks good. And then maybe a little line here to show that it comes in. So we have a lot of whipped cream on our latte, which is awesome. We can add in a straw that comes out like so. But if you don't like the straw, just leave that out. You can just have the whipped cream in the pumpkin cup. There we go. We have our mapped out sketch. I'm going to bring down opacity. And let's color this in. I will be using a soft pastel for shading a little bit later. We have the bonobo chalk. It's also great for shading. It has, hold on. It's very delicate and grainy. And it layers up really good. And if you don't have it, it was part of the earlier Procreate. If you go on a Procreate forum, a Procreate website, if you type it in, you'll be able to find it again if you'd like it. But soft pastel does awesome as well for layering, or you can use any other brush like the gouache brush, or maybe the Evol, I don't know how to pronounce that. For shading is also awesome, and you can layer it no problem. Clear. But for now, inking. I'm gonna go with a studio pen. Studio pen or the dry ink. Never mind. I changed my mind once again. Dry ink. It's in the inking folder. That's the pen I'm gonna go with. Grabbing an orange for my base colors. As always, first you want to color in all your base colors on each layer, and then you can go in and add shading. So remember, our bottom is very flat. Our top is very curved. And as you're drawing and adding color on top of your illustration, if you don't like that you can't see your illustration or your sketch, just bring your sketch up to the top layer and change the blend mode to multiply, and you'll be able to see it even though you're adding color everywhere. Just increasing my brush size to color all this in. And I'm not using color drop because I want this fun texture. If you go over a second layer, you'll get rid of some of that texture, but there's always a little bit left over, and I really appreciate that. Just fixing this area, smoothing it out. Just trying to make it more rounded. And I understand whipped cream is white, but we're gonna not use pure white, but just like an off-white. I need a new layer for my cup ear, and I'll just grab like a brown. So I didn't actually change the color of the orange, I just deepened it and darkened it, which gave me my brown. I think another fun color would be green. Green would be good You don't want to use brown. Beautiful. Just turning off my sketch layer for a second to see how everything's looking. It's looking great, actually. Just need to fix up a little bit here. Beautiful. New layer. Now I'm just very much lightening that original orange. I'm not even changing this, just lightening it up as much as I can. But not white for my cream. Just adding my curves. If the sketch layer is too dark, just bring down the opacity. And I might want to move my foam layer below my cup after. I'm curious, are you a fan of pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin flavor, or not? I very much enjoy pumpkin pie, but I'm not crazy about pumpkin spice lattes. I really enjoy chai, but not pumpkin, for at least a hot drink anyways. There you go, brought that a layer lower, that the foam is behind or in my pumpkin cup. And now we can add clipping masks to each of these black colors to start adding detail. Where's clipping mask? Clipping mask, there we go. I'm just deepening this color a bit. Bringing my brush size down a bit. Actually, leaving it at 20. And now here, don't press too hard, where the curve begins. There we go. Can you see that? Tapered beginning and then goes thicker. So same thing, tapered beginning, thicker, tapered beginning, thicker. So starting here, tapered and thickening as I go in. Light and thicker. It's all about your brush and pencil pressure. So if it doesn't work out, just erase and try again. Like so. Turn off your sketch layer to see how it looks. If it's looking like your foam is falling forward, like mine is a little bit, it's where I place the shadows or that detail. So I'm just gonna erase some of it. Hold on. And the reason for that is it was too low. I need to bring them a little bit closer together. Instead of coming down here. And less curved, more straight. But I can still play around with the thickness and the darkness. Oh, that's a lot lighter. Wrong color. There we go. And I definitely want to add some shading below here. I'm actually going to grab that color, deepen it even more, just a little bit. And follow the cup area of where that shadow would be. Like so. Easy peasy. And grabbing the original color of that foam and lightening it a bit. Still not white, but it's almost there. And just adding a few strokes to the sides here. To give it that 3D shiny full effect. I'm just gonna add a quick background color. Let's do like a calm green. Nice. Maybe even more desaturated. Yeah, I like that. Going to my pumpkin layer, adding a new layer to that on top, enabling clipping mask. Grab that original orange, deepen it a bit, but before it goes brown, turning on my sketch layer so I can see. And adding those pumpkin lines. Maybe even a little bit thicker. Nice. And now I will grab like a medium between the two. Not too, there you go. So it's not the original color, it's not the dark color, it's just a little bit off. And from the bottom, following the cut where the shadows would be. Now, if that's too cartoony or too intense, let me erase that. This is where we'd grab that other brush. For example, the soft pastel, the Bonono, the Evolve. Let's grab this one, the drawing one, Evolve. And actually add yet another layer. Make sure clipping mask is enabled below the detail. And just slowly adding some shading. Deepening the color a little bit. Take your time, deepening and adding more darkness to it. Pick up your pencil every once in a while, but just in case if you have to undo, you won't undo a whole section, but just like a little portion. And if you'd like, you can add some of that texture into the foam by grabbing that shadow color, creating a new layer on top, clipping mask, but you actually want it below that detail. I'm just adding a little bit of it along those lines. And now we'll just soften it a little bit. And you can do the same with the highlight. Man, the world is not showing up there. Gotta check my layers. Oh, it's on there, that's why. It's a color mistake that I did. Nice. That looks awesome. Going back to my pumpkin, that layer of shading and details, I'm just gonna increase the orange of the cup and add in top, middle, coming down a bit. Top, middle, coming down a bit. Increase my brush size. a little bit in the middle, because that would be the most rounded part, and off to the side. Pressing very lightly. The middle. And the top, of course. Where the light would be. I guess in this illustration, our light's coming from every direction from the top. This side and this side, which is great. It's just a really sunny day. We're outside. New layer for our cup handle. Enable clipping mask. Selecting that color. Deepening it even more. Maybe that's a little too deep. Which is okay. Just grab the original color again and go over it lightly. And I kind of went a little bit all over the place, a little too much. But I'm always grabbing the original brown again and just touching it up. That's the fun thing about Procreate. You added too much light, too much dark. Just grab the original color and go over it again. Or undo. That looks great. I love how that turned out. Because I use so much texture in my illustration, you can leave it as is, but I'm going to grab this original green, go to my background layer, deepen that color green using that same brush for texture, increasing my brush size. Just a little bit for shading and shadow. You can also just tap. It'll be very opaque. Undo. That's a little too much. Overkill. Too much. Look at that. Or you can add just some general texture throughout the whole page. Your preference. Whoops. It's just your preference. Voila. We have our pumpkin cup, pumpkin spice latte. Oh, I totally forgot about the straw. Add in the straw, or maybe you want it to be a cinnamon stick. But let me know in the comments if you drink these bad boys. Do you like pumpkin spice lattes or not? Tag me on Instagram so I can see how your illustration came out. And as always, if you have any questions, comment below, tag me on Instagram and let me know what your questions are so that I can help you. Keep creating, you're doing awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.